Lullaby for girls who still play with dolls at night. Fee, fi, fo, fum. Now I'm borrowed, now I'm numb. And Sexton, the addict. Set sail on oblong, serrated apricot alprazolam ships in a pale blue diazepam sky, from one carsoprodal cloud to the next. Marionette limbs bend in an oxycodone hoedown, that vicious Vicodin circle, an opiate opera appreciated from barbiturate balconies, listening to etodolac etudes, bring on naltrexone neuroses, plant forensic flags on amitriptyline acquisitions, no more ambidextrous amphetamine acrobatics. Instead, gabapentin gathers nerves gently, melts them down towards dreaming. Lullaby for Venice. Remember the chimes, the clock in the central square, and we ran over bridges arched like swans, through streets paved with merchants, bargaining for the time they keep by counting foreign currency. We stopped in barely lit shops draped heavy with velvets of crimson, green, and night sky blue, silk-lined cloaks, feather hats, lace-trimmed masquerade masks, with ribbons to tie what's forgotten away. Remember the chapel that emptied into the ghetto like guilt? The buildings full of hungry years, still grumbling inside resilient stone. And we ate alongside the canal, where you asked the water how in this enchanted place it could smell decayed. I said the waters were papal veins that carry the sins from the heart of a city that pulses with pleasure. That's why lovers here are holy. They lie in the gondolas, mouths open, kindest to waters that never need strain. In the glass-blowing factory, we watched men whisper life into bubbling shapes of cobalt, emerald, and gold-flushed red, like your face after dancing at the German beer hall. The men conjure goblets, bottles, and delicate beads, like the strand I clutched in the taxi boat as it took us away. The beads that remembered the next day in Florence, then Rome, then Pompeii, where we bought cigarettes from the mafia, giving money to the capo, delaying a tour through the ancient city. Remember when the dawn rolled by, his long Mercedes black and liquid, how his men ran frenzied like marbles scattered by a shooter. That night on the ship bound for Greece, our luck changed at the casino bar and we hardly had to pay. And the mad woman who shared her vodka gathered us close like a suspicious mother, deep in our dark corner so the ship attendants wouldn't see. We nursed her bottles to stories she told of her youth in Brussels, of the beauty she left there. Her voice crackled like fire on a crone's skin. Her words came drifting, narrow fingers, bands of purple cigarette smoke, and she liked us because we were young and our veins were lovely. We took what little night she left us, stumbling upstairs to your room, and when we pulled down the bed, there was none. No room except for the sea. We dissolved into the waves. I was your Venus underwater. Lullaby for thirsty lawn furniture. The chairs hunker down under layers of misuse and dust. The air shimmies. The crackling cushions know those vast consumptive stars better than any single eye combined with any other. Inside, the acid porcupine quills drip, sting velvet nerve endings, those tiny pink pins quivering at the edge of agreeable dissonance. Outside, the unkempt layers melt, skin sliding off the bone, white moon, the black sky, two charcoaled lungs of night. The music goes straight through, a marrow song, beating a silk drum muffled in a string tendon quartet. Something of the moon is borrowed, an extrapolation of stars, the missing note a key transposed on skin. The rain on the roof is a tin drum, a brass band, a whole bone symphony. Lullaby for my lungs. The tuner bird now nests, now thrums in its cage of bone, plays harp of catgut strings by the red light that dictates my resonant streams, Sisyphusian translator at first breath's strum, that sought to home, that home to seek from its first beat, under the weight of words and through that escape room of language that forever unhomes. Breath it strained to decipher until it found translation in plumes clearer than consonants, that let me sight my body there, that allowed me into yours, the way that clouds might straddle continents between oceans, sip moontides, and stir the storms to tea, that we might sip, and we sipped, and we shared above the undertow beneath its wingspan. And now the bird is full and fat and red-breasted, bursting, full of its own song, soon the only hymn I'll have to share, between the bars of bone each porous easement, the only pitch audible. And the view from here is red and veined and pulsing, quickened by every foam-crested wave. Each boat of my lungs shudders when I am still, and the vast waters shimmer shifting just as they always did. Now a symphony of memory glows wild, drowns me out, fastens me to each red pulsing light, and I am wrapped in echo, and echo can see with clarity and must hold the bird that sings to me with gentle hands. I whisper back soft benediction, place to its beak a megaphone, projecting past where I could never have gone or stayed without growing song.
They were lovely illusions, reaching hard, built on sand. They had a touch of paradise, spell your calm, sweet. For in this crazy paradise, you are in love.
Lullaby for an American expat. The city is a woman. Her eyes are absent, her voice is ice. When she speaks, smoke pours from her nostrils and floats up toward the diffusion of starlight. Her name could be Ashhill, or Siena, or Lyon, but she is not merely quaint, historic, or scenic. She is Praha, timeless and ravaged, dripping with garnets, her cobblestone legs open. Here your losses are crumbling stone steps you navigate slowly. You catch your reflection in the water as you stroll past the Vltava. You see scaffolding, think skeleton. The word excavate seems like flesh you might penetrate. These words become more intimate than hearth or home. You love her because you find her less foreign than your room back home, saturated by the scent of musty words and turpentine. She is a canvas, a blank gessoed stare you recognize in relief at her skyline. You toast her with pekoravka, soda water, and lime, watching jazz cabaret at Alejo Glena. The black and white image on the matchbook reminds you of Dietrich. December brings less devoted tourists. They flirt with her at the Christmas fair in Old Town Square, sip her hot mulled wine from paper cups, but you forgive her anything. A new year marks the anniversary of when she took you in, a refugee of loss with a need to lose yourself in something other. You sit down at a cafe near the Malastrana, sketch a man with a thick beard who sits alone in a corner, a couple whispering into each other's ears, a girl with sad eyes who keeps resting her head on the heel of her hand. You place the mug back on the saucer, pick up your book, and read afternoon straight into evening. Years later, you will swear it was a book of poems by Lawrence, but it may have been Rilke or Gilbert or a story by Kafka. You tip an undetermined amount of karuna, nod at the waiter, slide a packet of sugar between the pages, and hold your place and walk out into the night. Behind your back, the city raises one ironic eyebrow, winks, and turns away. Lullaby for what we're left with. Her last words, his last look, last hospital visit, clay paw prints, worn gas mask, rented deathbed, singed lace bra, cobalt blue wig, unsent birthday card, stuffed trash bags for Goodwill, chipped nesting doll, reverse mortgage, adult diapers, old photographs of unknown faces, blue morphine, self-help books, broken lava lamp, private journal confession, long probates, 1,000 last cigarettes, and one very last December. This mission is nearly complete. One more transmission to go, but I have people to thank. Forgive me for reading this. I get easily flustered and it's hard for me to form language sometimes, and I really wish to say what I mean to say. I want to thank everyone at Moontide Press. They made this first book experience a delightful dream. Special thanks to Eric for supporting me doing something a little different from a live reading that better suits my abilities and vision. I hope you will all support small presses with big hearts that create space and community. Go to moontidepress.com to check out fine work from awesome local poets. Thanks to the following visually gifted creatures. My best girl, Juliana Maresca, her shot of Kyle and me made the front cover. My partner's shot of a gorgeous dead pigeon made the back of the book. And my author's pick is by Moontide author and well-known photographer, LA photographer, Alexis Roan Fancher. I am grateful for the insanely talented poets who offer generous words to the back of this book. Daniel McGinn's Moontide book, The Moon, My Lover, My Mother, and the Dog, is lost in this room somewhere, so I'm going to have to hold up black umbrellas. But you can catch his live reading with Moontide from his Moontide selection, and it's just beautiful. Someone I'm grateful to call poetry sister and friend, Armine Iknedosian. Her book, All That Wasted Fruit, is luscious, and you just have to read it, and I hope you do. It's just beautiful. Then someone that many of us are lucky to call mentor and friend, Brendan Constantine. Here's one of his latest. They're all good. Oops. Then my longtime writing partner and dear friend, Chris Toby. Without her, my book would not be. Check out her book, A Woman is a Woman is a Woman is a Woman. It's biting, sharp, funny, poignant, and gutting. Everything you'd want a poetry book to be. Check it out. Then my partner in life and all things, David, thank you. Thank you for help with final edits and many other things surrounding finalizing this book, for making my vision possible, and filming and editing this video, for everything. Finally, gratitude to anyone receiving this frequency. 2020 is everything at once, and I appreciate your time.
Lullaby for a species. The humans had a strange run. They always thought they were talking to each other. They licked their fingers to paper and folded up their hearts, but stuffed them into sock drawers. Paper cut deeper than daggers until the keyboard, the tap-tap of resonant notes, of dissonant notes. They used them to strike, but could not hear the music. They signed their souls to truth, but seldom knew honesty. Desperate to be heard, they forgot how to listen. Now every window lights an author, audience dissolving. Obsessed with finding themselves, each hallway grew mirrors. All they desired was there in the reflection of the other. As ages passed, they created experts for finding what they lost, but forgot how to see. Sometimes, though, they saw each other just before leaving.